Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Toppers Talk, and today we have Sarah with us. Hi Sarah, please introduce yourself.
Hello, ma'am, and to everyone who's watching. Hello, my name is Sarah Singh. I'm from Bhopal. Currently, I'm at NLU National Law University, Jodhpur. My CLAT rank was 298 and my ALET rank was 284. And I'm very excited to talk with everyone, like talk with you and tell you my experience about CLAT
How
and my
is
CLAT prep.
your experience with NLUJ now?
Well, NLUJ is treating, it's like a big surprise. You cannot get ready for college at all. But
Mhm.
when it comes, you get to know how it's like. So the academics are very hectic. There are many exams that will go on. There are project submissions and CREs. But the brighter side of it is that there are so many people that you get to meet. The campus is absolutely beautiful. There's something going on in the campus at all times, be it sports or journals or discussions or moods. So it's very exciting and a great experience overall.
So Sarah, did you prepare for CLAT with school or you were a dropper?
Yes, I started preparing for CLAT since 11th. I gave a dummy attempt in 11th and then in 12th, my
Mhm.
main CLAT. In 11th, to be very honest, I was not very diligent with CLAT. So my main focus at that time was school. And I regret that decision, but I got very serious about it in 12th. So I managed my 12th and CLAT together.
All right. So very less time for CLAT that उस टाइम पे क्योंकि 6 months में होने वाला था, right? So how
Yeah.
did you balance it, or how did you feel at that point of time, and how did you start preparing उसके according?
When we first got the notice that CLAT will be held in December, at one point I was like, should I give it or not? Like, dena
Oh.
bhi hai ki nahi dena? Because my prep was not very, substantive at that time. But I'm also grateful that we got the notice because it was that point when I actually got very serious about the prep. So I started working more. Harder actually. I started attending my classes regularly. I started practicing regularly. Before that, my mock frequency was not great. Then I started, like, after we got to know कि it's gonna happen in December, I started giving my mocks weekly. So yeah, I had to level up my prep because many students were already ahead with their preparation. So to match that, I had to work harder, but it was also like we think it's not possible, but it was possible and it happened.
So how was your experience with LegalEdge? One was online. For 1 year, you were in an online batch. Later on, you were in the hybrid batch. So how was your experience with LegalEdge?
I think LegalEdge was like the main thing that helped me clear CLAT because I was totally dependent on my coaching. I had no other substitute. I was not uh, connected to any other institute or any other coaching, not even for mocks. LegalEdge mocks were the only mocks I used to give. Later on, I started taking other coachings mock, but those were not that relevant anyways. When I began online, the online experience was different because there's like a teacher is there and there's one-way communication, but it never felt like I could not ask my doubts because the chat section was always open. The teachers were always ready to answer your queries and doubts. They even waited like 5 minutes after the class to solve the doubts. And the offline experience, obviously, it was better because the teacher used to be right and the faculty members would be in front of you. They would look at you and teach you. When it started happening offline, I used to go to the legal ed center to give my mocks, and that's another experience of giving mocks because when you go there and actually give your mocks online, you get to know what it's like to give the actual CLAT because the environment is set in that way.
Okay. So how did you manage school and CLAT together?
It was very hard. Firstly, attendance was a major issue that I had to deal with because my school had mandatory 75% attendance. Also, in 12th, I was a humanities student. My subjects were humanities with psychology as my optional subject. So, in humanities, teachers expect us to make our projects, which was also a task, and I had to give my school exams. But I used to make sure that whatever happens, I do not compromise my CLAT prep. So in 12th, I made sure that my main priority has to be CLAT. So I did not repeat the mistake I did in 11th, prioritizing school over CLAT. Because now that we know that CLAT will happen in December, the board students will get time to study for their boards anyway after December. There's January, February, March, so many months to study for boards, and boards is relatively easy, but you cannot compromise CLAT. So it was difficult, but as soon as I used to reach home from school, without like wasting much time, I used to rest for some time, but then after that, I made sure that whatever tasks I have assigned to myself for my CLAT, I complete those and then sleep.
ओके, सो लीगल एज आपको बहुत सारे रिसोर्सेज प्रोवाइड करता है. सो आपने उन रिसोर्सेज को इतने कम टाइम में कैसे ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइज किया?
Uh, that was a task for me क्योंकि my RSMs at that time were not complete when I got to know कि CLAT will be held in December. So at that time I thought कि of whatever material I have, I'll finish that first. So I started with RSM because RSMs that the legal edge, the RSMs that we get, they have basic questions and then moderate questions and then difficult questions. So the way the questions are set is very nice for you to conceptually understand the concepts. So I started with RSMs. Then after those got done, I came to Catalyst. And when I used to practice my RSMs, I used to do like, just solve and then keep it there and then not analyze. But then I got to know while solving the Catalyst that you have to do time-based practice, number one, and number two, you have to analyze your practice material also. So the way we analyze our mocks, it's equally important to analyze your practice questions also. And then just before CLAT, we got the Grandmaster's box from LegalEdge, which was another great resource material for practice. There are tough questions, but also which help you deal with CLAT type questions because CLAT is unpredictable and you can get easy and tough both. Um, then also I used to practice from the GK Fiesta that we used to get just before CLAT. And yeah, and whenever I used to face any difficulties, I would go to a center where we had teachers who took doubt clearing sessions. So face to face, one on one, we used to clear our doubts with them. So that was also very helpful.
ओके, सो क्लैट एज अ जर्नी में आपने काफी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स फेस किए होंगे, राइट? सो वो प्रॉब्लम्स क्या थे एंड हाउ डिड यू रिजॉल्व देम?
Um, to me, like I used to get frustrated very easily with my mock scores, and I think that's something everyone will relate with because in some mock, suppose you got a good score which you're satisfied with, and we get like a bit confident ki ab ho raha hai. But then in the next mock, again the score goes down, and you're like, how did that happen? I was doing well and now I'm down. So I think it's very important to deal with that frustration in a positive way. People get stressed out very easily, and sometimes I saw my friends that they got stressed out and stopped preparing altogether. So they used to take like big breaks in order to get back up. But I think there are like two types of stresses, positive and negative. So you do not have to let negative stress affect you. Make it positive so that you work harder and not get demotivated by the less mock scores. How I dealt with it was, सबसे पहले तो I used to talk with my uh, CLAT mentors. Siddhant sir, I used to talk to him regularly, and he used to see me like I used to go to him and I used to be like, अब नहीं हो रहा मुझसे लीगल के मार्क्स नहीं बढ़े, this is not happening, that is not happening. So it's very important to talk to your mentors, your faculty, because they are experienced people who know and who can help you resolve your issue. You can talk to your peers also. There are a lot of times when all of like a group commonly goes through the same thing, so you can talk it out, help each other. And yeah, a lot of students also are very frustrated about GK. So to resolve that, you can make GK groups and exchange your notes. And yeah, my parents also helped me a lot at that time. They were always supportive. So it's necessary to keep on talking with your parents and have like healthy discussions with them also regarding your prep and everything.
Okay. So, Sarah, as you have talked a lot about mocks, so there would be one question. What would be those 5 tips you want to give while attempting mocks?
Five tips. Yeah, firstly, it's very important to manage time. Time management in mocks is very important because a lot of times we start attempting a section and then we give like 40 minutes to legal section or 45-50 minutes to legal section, because of which maybe the sections that we are attempting later get missed. It's very important to at least attempt all sections, and I think now the questions have decreased. At that time they were 150 and now they're 120, so it's easier, I think, to manage that. So time distribution and time management is very important. Next thing while attempting mocks is to read the questions very properly. And this is one mistake I used to do repeatedly. So sometimes there used to be a question regarding which of the following is not a synonym. And I used to tick a synonym and comment. I used to be happy ki ye to sahi kiya, but that's wrong. The question stem is very important. A lot of times people skim read through the passage, which also increases the chances of getting the questions wrong. So it's very important to read the passage very carefully, the question stem, and the options also very carefully. And one practice that I started doing at the later stage of my mocks was that I started maintaining a mock mistakes diary. So I had a very thin copy in which I used to write my mistakes, and before each mock, I used to revise those mistakes. Ki in the last mock, I did this. I do not have to repeat it in this mock. So that is very important. And finally, I think students also get like a lot of friends, and a lot of juniors have been approaching me and they say, Ki, I'm worried about this particular section. So whenever I begin this section, I automatically have this anxiety ki I'm going to do this section wrong. I'll mess this section up. So it's very important to confidently attempt the question, regardless of the fact that you are good at it or not, or you it's a weak section or a strong section. Attempt it confidently and have faith in yourself that you will be able to do it. And since 3 months are left, there is going to be a lot of anxiety. So yeah, I'll repeat the thing: ki have faith in yourself and have confidence in your prep.
All right. So, as you have talked about the 3 months time, so what would be your suggestions regarding the preparation for these 3 months?
Firstly, I'll say that there is a 3 month anxiety that people go through generally. Ki up 3 months are left, and there's a different sort of uh, you know terrified atmosphere in the coaching also. Ki just 3 months are left, nothing is going to happen. But I want to like let the viewers know that even if there are 3 months left, miracles happen in CLAT prep because it's a time of rigorous prep and everyone is preparing, and your score can go from here to here. And I'm speaking this from personal experience because before like CLAT, 3 months before CLAT, my score was around anywhere around 60 to 80. So it used to fluctuate so much. And I remember the week before CLAT, my score was somewhere around 100. So I never thought that I would be able to even touch that score at that time. But when you know that this much time is left, it's very important to structureize your prep at this point. So write a timeline, like make a chronology. Ki in these 3 months, this is exactly how my prep is going to be. So because there are 3 months and there are ample resources, there are resources on different apps, and there are many groups that children approach. You do not have to pick things from each and everything and try to do everything. Be smart with your prep and select the resource which will help you the most. And also I would like to say that at this point, because of giving so many mocks, the aspirants might know what their weak and strong areas are. So they have to make sure that they work the most on their weak areas. So at least their 60-70% of the prep time should go to their weak areas. For me, it was my GK and QT. I was very bad at math. So I used to make sure that I practice math every day. GK, I used to make sure that I keep on revising backlogs as well as do the current GK, which is like their GK Fiesta helped a lot at that time. And while preparing for the weak areas, do not forget that you also have to maintain your strong areas as well. Keep on giving mocks and keep on practicing as much as you can. And somewhere like now, it's very important to recognize your mistakes also. So during my CLAT time, I understood that my CR section, like somewhere in CR, my concepts were weak regarding premise and conclusion. I used to get confused in assumption questions and I used to do those wrong a lot of times. So I made sure that now the concepts need to be very, very clear. So I revised the classes. I think children can watch their classes 3 4 times if they are uploaded. So I used to rewatch those classes, make my notes again, and then practice again using the CLAT list and GMPs. Yes, this is it.
So as you have discussed your earlier mock score and the later mock score. So what was your first mock score and how did you improve it gradually? What are those tips that a student should keep in mind कि वो mock scores बढ़ जाए?
My first mock score, I gave my first mock score in 11th and I got 30 marks. It was somewhere around 13. It was very bad. And I was like, how am I supposed to clear CLAT this way? Because CLAT is out of 120, like 150, and I'm getting 30 marks. But then like it's a process, it's a gradual process. So one mock score or 1 week's mock score will not decide your CLAT uh, score. Mocks are meant to, you know, get us to like mocks are meant us to prepare us for the main day. They are not the reality or they are not what our intellect is. This is very important to understand. So it's a gradual process. As soon as like as soon as you give mock, come back home and see where you went wrong. So as I said, I maintained a mistakes copy. So I wrote those things down where I went wrong. At at that like when I was giving my mocks in 11th, there were a lot of mistakes that I used to do. I did not analyze properly. I did not know my mistakes. I did not have an idea of my strong or weak points. But I made sure that I do not just repeat these things in 12th because I gave my dummy attempt in 11th and I got a rank of 2000 something, 2800. So that was when I realized okay, there are many places where I'm going wrong. So I had to work upon them. So as soon as you give mocks, know where you are going wrong, analyze those mistakes and take use of the mentors that LegalEdge are providing. Like there are mentors, there are faculties. Go and ask them as much as you can. Take help from them as much as you can so that they may be able to help you to increase your score.
All right. Anything you want to add on that I might not have asked, or you have any suggestions for our students?
I just like lastly, I just like to say that regarding the prep, people know more or less everything. They just do not implement it. They know how to study, they know how to give the mocks, they just are unable to find a way of implementing. So that's where mentors and teachers are going to help. But there is also one thing that we have to work upon on a personal level is our confidence and you know because just with such less time is there and I still am getting a call from my friends who are again giving the exams or juniors that I am so scared, I do not know how to I cannot sleep at night, my hands shiver when I give the mocks. So this is something that you have to do on a personal level, is to be very very confident. If you are struggling with like anxiety or something like that, meditate on a daily basis. I started meditating few weeks before that because I get anxious very easily. It's very important to not get scared of the exam, but to face it like a warrior because it's just an exam. It's like a challenge that you're facing. It's not a battle of life, something that you have to, cry and sweat and shed your blood and all. It's just an exam. Treat it like an exam. Give it like be cool at most times and not lose your chill, be confident, have keep on talking with your parents time to time, keep on talking with your friends, and yeah, completely like trust the process, have faith, it will happen. uh, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.